Hey everyone, Wesker here with another Borderlands 3 video, and today we will be covering Zane, the agent. Zane is a pretty fun character to play. He was my first level 50 character, and he works very well with nearly everything. So let's go over his skills. Now, for this build, we won't be using his undercover skill tree. We won't be using the shield. We're going pure damage because his damage output's just insane. So let's see what works well for him, what doesn't. And first of all, I like using the turret, the SNTLNL on the first slot. Now for the first sets of skills, I like going for the movement speed because it helps gap closing on anything, and I don't think you're gonna swap so much our weapons because he works well with most weapons, so it's hard for him to need to change anything. And I just don't think the gun damage works so well for him with the movement speed thing unless you're getting violent speed. But between all of these, the salvation works better because he gets a better sustain. So 4 points on salvation and 1 on drone delivery, because since you're not going to be using your grenades, since you're gonna get that slot filled with your digiclone, you can just get your grenades from somewhere else. And we're gonna get some grenades from the clone as well, but the drone's gonna have his own grenade, so it's gonna work just fine. Now, Death Follows Close is a great skill because of the extra duration on your kill skill, and the bonus, it's just great, works nice. So we max out Salvation to get to the next skill tier, sorry, and get 3 points on Cool Hand. Now, this is a hard choice. I usually go with Plain Dirty because of the extra shot chance. I am sorry, but I'm gonna see how Violence fares against the enemies right now. So 5 points here, and Good Misfortune, we're gonna put 2 points here, and that's it. Now for the drone enhancements, I like going with Bad Dose because it makes the enemies weaker, so it's easier to kill them, if that makes any sense at all. So we're going with Bad Dose and Boomsday because of the extra rocket damage. Now on his digiclone tree, we are going Premonitus, 3 points there. And as you can see, we are using a class mod which enhances the skill, and I'm gonna talk in a second about how good this magazine size really is, but for now let's just keep going here. I like putting 2 points here on Borrowed Time because of the extra action skill duration, sorry, and 1 point on Factual Frags, so that you get another free grenade from your clone, which is always good. Now we get 4 points here and 1 point on the shield. Now why do you get the shield? It's good for his survivability as well, and overall he has a very good shield tree, if that makes any sense. You're constantly regenerating shield, you're constantly getting your shield back up, and you shouldn't have to worry about dying. And if you are about to die, let's get the extra point here, you can always rely on Odu. It's a great skill for survivability as well. So let's get to the next tier, and 3 more points on Borrowed Time, so we can get the full bonus from the skill duration. Now 1 point in OU and 1 point in Pocket Full of Grenades. Now this is good pocket full of grenades, and you really don't need 3 points here, but I think it's good to have something here so that you can proc boom enhance. Now we are going to get duct tape mod. We are putting 3 points here. It's nice because you get another free grenade even though you can't throw grenades. And boom enhance. It's gonna help your digiclone to stay alive for longer and last longer, which is good. It's always good to have that. Now two more points here, and we are getting 1, 2, 3. Okay, so synchronicity we're going to get for the extra gun damage that you get from his action skills. Since we are using 2, we will be getting 24% more damage per more gun damage in total. And double barrel is a weird skill because your clone is not always gonna have the best damage because it's dumb. The AI doesn't work that well for the clone, so he just shoots a couple of times and he's like, okay, I'm gonna stop right now, and he doesn't do much at all. But the extra gun damage is good, and it's a good option for, you know, getting that extra damage from your clone, since it works well with boom enhance. Now for his digiclone enhancements, you have lots of good options here. It's good to use Schadenfreude, okay, because whenever the clone takes damage, you get your shield back, not all of it, but a good portion of it, and it goes well with which one's real, because your clone's gonna be focused more by your enemies, so that should work well. Now for his items, he is kind of item heavy, but most of anything works on him, so you don't have to worry about it that much. But there are a couple of items that are going to be great on him, like the long musket. It's really good. It's one of the best weapons in the game right now. The damage output's just insane. It's also known as that legs weapon, you know, from the trailer. And as you can see right there, I procced the grenade thing. And Star Helix is a great weapon overall. The damage is good. It has a great output on enemies. And now for the good weapons. Now, Handsome Jackhammer, if you have already seen this weapon, it's just amazing. It's great. It's a chucking weapon. Chugging, okay. And what it does is it keeps bouncing and dealing damage. And since we have the extra magazine size, it means that our Handsome Jackhammer is gonna deal a lot more damage because we have 53 bullets on the magazine. Now, on my last video I talked about the Layuta and how broken it is. It's so broken, in fact, that I have a couple more. And the only Layuta I don't have, which I've been farming constantly but I just can't get it to drop, is the Shock one, which I think is gonna be amazing when I get it, but it's probably amazing overall. Okay. For his shield, I think the Recharger is good. It's great because when it breaks down, you get it back, a portion of it, and this version of it absorbs bullets, which is always good, and you get some extra movement speed from it. Nice. Praetorian Deceiver, Wyatrus. It's good for the health regen, and because you get more magazine size and more gun damage and health regeneration whenever you kill something, which again, it's always good. Now the grenade, the Murtacular Hex is good because it deals radiation damage, which is always good because you're gonna get the enemies weaker, and since your drone deals radiation damage as well, you're gonna get it a lot weaker, your enemies, and it's gonna be fine. And Snowdrift Rocket Boots. which is good for the bonus damage on cryo damage, but the best part is the slide speed, which is 102%. So you're gonna be moving really fast. Now, for other weapons, the Lyudas are always nice. I really like having a Vigorous Magnum, double penetrating in this case. It's really good, it works really well, and it deals a lot of damage. The Maggie is good on him as well. The Hell Shock, which I thought was going to be the Hellfire until I dropped a Hellfire in this game. It's good when you're fighting enemies that have shield and meat, because you can just switch the element and kill it. The Cutsman is really good for killing big bosses. It deals a lot of damage. And the Sleeping Giant is really good as well, deals a lot of damage. We can even trade it for the Star Helix, but I think overall the Star Helix is better. And class mods, it's always nice to have a bit of everything, so you can try different stuff every time you feel like it. And the Flacker is really strong on this game as well, so it's always nice to have one. Shields, Nova Burner is more of a shield for melee, but since it doesn't do melee at all, it's not that good to have it. And just some other items I got by chance. So let's run Athena's and see how he fares against the enemies. And as you can see, his movement speed is just broken. He moves really fast. And let's see how it goes. So pop the drone, pop the clone, trade places with it, and do your damage. As you can see, he melts literally everything. We are playing on Mayhem 1, just saying, for the fun factor, which is always nice. Every time you feel like it, just change places with our clone, get a little more damage out of it, and just keep running it. As you can see, he melts anything in his way. He does a lot of damage. He doesn't really have to worry about dying that much, since most of the enemies are going to be focusing on his clone. And you see my shield's up again because of the skill on the regeneration. The regeneration of the clone skill, whatever. The movement speed, always nice. And there we go. The drone has faded, but his damage output is just good. You don't really have to worry that much about dying. That, and our skills are up again. And you see the recharger, the shield broke, and it's already up again because of its passive. That, it works really well. He's really strong. And as you can see, the radiation damage is just destroying everything. If you press F, you can pay respect. No, I'm just kidding. You can focus on a specific enemy with your drone, and it's gonna take all of the radiation damage, which is good because it's gonna be weaker and you can just kill it a lot faster. It's good for bosses, it's good for badasses. It's just overall great. Now we change places with our clone so we can get enemies to focus it, and since the clone has so many enhancements, it's not going to die. And as you can see, we activated the skills once and they're up until this point, because you don't have to worry about, since you're gonna be killing everything, and that's why we didn't get seeing red, because you're just constantly killing things, so you don't really need it for mob farming, just for some bosses in specific, but for basic mobbing it shouldn't be a problem. And as you can see, our damage falls a bit when we lose our action skills, but it's not much. And since our shield is constantly recharging, there we go, the drone's up, so we have more damage. Health regeneration, we got it from our clone, so our health is back up. And we have the lifesteal, which is always good as well. And as you can see, he just melts most of the enemies really fast. And again, we're going to see how he fares against a boss. So see you there. Okay, so here we go. Captain Trond. He might not be the strongest boss, but I think he's a good reference. So there are some things that work really well with the clone. The Lyuda, as you can see, deals really good damage. But just look at this. 1, 2, and there it goes. The handsome jackhammer is just really broke, and it works really well. Now, it's not an easy weapon to find. I found one on my first playthrough, and the other one I found by luck. And I feel like there are lots of weapons in this game that are like this. But yeah, that's the gist of it. If you have any questions, anything you want to ask, anything you want to add, just leave a comment. So thanks for watching, and hope you liked the video. See you next time.